Well, Jason, change at the top here at Spennymoor Town this morning, and Graeme Lee appointed as the new manager. How pleased are you?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good lad. You know what I mean? He knows the game. He's played at a high level. Played a lot of football league games. Done his badges. A licensed coach. Worked at Middlesbrough under 23s, and obviously had experience at Hartlepool United. You know, so he comes well respected, and he's done a good job at Mask in difficult times for them, really. So it's always difficult, you know, because Lewis has worked for me for a year. You know, stepped in when things, you know, were very difficult for him, because obviously Chan was the manager we put in charge. Things changed for reasons that, you know, personal reasons for Jamie, and then we're asked Lewis to step in as manager, and he's gone through a lot of health scares and things like that. So it's been difficult for him, and he's thoroughly, you know, worked ever so hard for the football club. But the remit from the chairman was that he had a contract till the end of December, and the chairman's decided that it needs probably a fresh pair of eyes on it, and you know, now we've got to look and move forward. And
with Graeme Lee coming in, obviously, as you mentioned, he's got a great track record. He had a wonderful career as a player, and he's got this ambition, really has this drive to prove himself as a manager now.
He has. I mean, it's funny because when I stepped back in last time, you know, I think he was after the job then, and I think it wasn't the right time for him. But football's, you know, the amount of people that were, you know, the job wasn't even advertised, but the amount of people that were on the phone trying to get the job and things like that, and you know, and we had to beat off a bit of competition from several clubs around the area for Graeme, because, you know, at the time when we were still with Lewis, Graeme was manager of Mass, but he'd also been approached by another club, so he went to meet them, and you know, and then the job became available when Brad made the decision on Saturday. So, you know, we've probably got him just at the right time, because there was a lot of clubs after his signature.
And what is it about his characteristics and his management style that sort of attracted you to appoint him?
Well, I think the first thing to me was, you know, it's all right me knowing him, but he's got to feed that back to the chairman. So he met the chairman, you know, and he's passionate about his job. You know, he wants to work really hard. You know, I think he's got a good. You can tell the camaraderie he's got there at Mask. You know, in difficult times he had at Mask at the start of the season. He assesses it, knew what he wanted, and they've built a real togetherness there. And I think that's what this football club's all about. You know, I've been here many years now. You know, I think I've managed over 900 games. So the club's at my heart, and the chairman, you know, he's came in since 2009, and he, you know, he's obviously impressed him when he spoke to him, and you know, and he'll get backed. You know, the club is in a very good, you know, position. You know, the chairman's given him the authority that, you know, which he did with Lewis, that he can go on. We need to bring in a few quality additions. The group is a very good group. You know, let's not forget, you know, prior to the poor run that we've been on, you know, right up competing at the top end of the table. Yeah. So, you know, the quality's here. You know, the lads are all together. I believe that. You know, they've not played for Lewis and Andy without a shadow of a doubt. You can see that. You know, sometimes you don't get the rub of the green when things aren't going well for you, and I do believe that's the case. But like you said, they've got a great bunch of players here, and he's got the authority, and the chairman's given the backing that he can go and sign, you know, 2 or 3 quality additions, whatever he needs to bring in, and the chairman's going to back him.
And that's one of the things he's just mentioned when we spoke to him about the job himself, Graeme. You know, that the setup of the club and the way that this club has progressed over the last 12 or 13, 14 years, whatever it might be, you know, that attracts people to want to be part of it and want to, you know, help drive that ambition that we have here.
Yeah, I mean, I dread to think how long ago we were playing in front of crowds of 200, 250. You know, now we're averaging 11, 1200, you know, and so the gates are there. You've got the ladies' side, the community, the 16 to 19 programme. So yeah, the club has developed, and under the guy, you know, they'd see the chairman. If it wasn't for him, none of us would be here. Let's not kid ourselves, but it's on a real sound footing. It's a real good club. You know, people from the outside know that, and then as soon as you know, one person, you know, leaves, the amount of people that want this job is frightening. You know what I mean? And because they know it's a good job, great facilities, great pitch, and it's a great community football club that have got supporters here that have followed this football club for many years, and you've got the supporters who've just followed them from recent. So it's a good club to be at, you know, and we're not far away. We've got a good group, and we've always been second half of the season side, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we did that last year. We were really close to getting back into the playoffs. We've got a real competitive budget. You know, as a part-time football club, we've got a competitive budget that's right at the top end of the part-time clubs. And there's no reason why we can't go on that run again and get, you know, the ambition as this football club is to be in the playoffs every year. You know, that hasn't changed. We're not saying we have to win the league because there's so many good teams in this league, but we need to be in and around the playoffs. And you know, and I'm hopeful that the additions that the management can bring in, the quality that the group is already here, then you know we should be able to achieve our aim.
Yeah, I think you've seen. I mean, it was one of the first things you said to me actually when I started at the club was how competitive this division is and how teams can beat each other and how you can move up and down the table so quickly. We've seen that in the negative sort of style in the last few weeks in terms of how we've moved down the table. But if we can get some momentum, we can very quickly arrest that, can't we?
I think every season's exactly the same. You know, there'll be teams that start off right near the bottom and end up in the playoffs and vice versa. I think we're 5 points off the relegation places and 7 off the playoffs with games in hand. You know what I mean? And you've probably seen clubs over Christmas, which we did last year. We had back-to-back wins of Blythe and moved us right up. And there'll be teams that like this year who've had 6 points out of 6 in Christmas and have moved right into the playoff positions. And there'll be teams that that have really struggled and dropped down a couple of. This league is unforgiving. You know, you go on a run and you're right in your picture, and there's never ever a great deal of difference points total from relegation to the playoffs, and that's what it'll be again this season.
And the appointment of Graeme Lee has a nice symmetry to it in terms of, I think it's around about 20 years since his dad was manager here at Spennymoor, and following in his footsteps is, I'm sure, a very emotional journey for Graeme, because Tony was a legend around local football, wasn't he?
Absolute legend. He managed me, you know what I mean? What a character. And that was probably the last time I saw Graeme, ironically, was at his dad's funeral. Which was very, very sombre, but the amount of people that you saw there at his dad's funeral that were blasts from the past, you know what I mean? That was good. But he's hungry. He wants to do well. He's got the legacy of his dad that was here, you know what I mean? And he's got that drive, and he's got Clarky, who's an A-licensed coach with him, who knows non-league as well. So they've got a great opportunity here. They've got to assess what's in the building, and then they've got to put their own stamp on it.